Kenita McNatt claims Regina Hunt sold her a lemon that required a lot of money to repair. Regina says the car was sold in as-is condition and repossessed the vehicle when Kenita stopped making payments.
I took his word that the car was a good running car when I bought the car, but within 2 weeks of me buying the car, it broke down. I called him and asked him to fix my clutch for me. Okay, he said he can do that. It took him about 3 or 4 days, so I put it in the shop because I had to go to work, back and forth to work.
All right, let's start so that I'm clear about what's happening. You purchased a car that Ms. Hunt owned.
Yeah. But when
she sold you a car.
Yeah.
And then you had the car for a while and you started having problems with the car.
Well, I had the car for 2 weeks and the clutch went out on it.
So you are here suing for what amount?
I'm suing for $1,800, everything I put into the car and everything I've paid her for the car.
All right, Ms. Hunt, let me hear from you. Your position, please.
For one, I was being nice to sell her the car, and then when I agreed to sell her the car, when she got the car was as is. So
but
when she get the car,
she didn't write it. She didn't tell me that. She never said nothing about so as is. When I talked to him, he showed me the car. I didn't know that this was the owner of the car until the fact I had the $500 in my hand and I was ready to buy the car.
That's not true.
He said, "Oh, well, this is Regina's car. You have to go talk to Regina." So I went to Regina's house. I gave Regina $500. She gave me my key. I was gone.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Just a moment, Mr. Butler, you were involved in this?
Yes, I was.
All right, what happened? Tell me from your perspective. What happened?
I had a car and she said that she would want to buy the car, and I told her she had to talk to my girlfriend about the car.
And how do you know Ms. McNatt?
That's my grandson's mom.
All right. So she was interested in buying a car.
Right.
You said then that you would go and talk to Ms. Hunt about the car.
Yes.
And so you kind of served as the go-between.
Right.
Between the plaintiff and the defendant to make this car deal happen. What was the agreement, Ms. McNatt? What did you agree to pay on the car?
The agreement was I was to pay $1,200 for the car. I told her when I
get $1,200
total. And
what kind of car are we talking about?
It's a Honda Civic, 86 Honda Civic.
86 Honda Civic for $1,200.
Okay, and I, agreed to pay the $1,200. Okay.
So every time you got paid was every 2 weeks, every month,
every
week?
2 weeks, every 2 weeks.
So there was a payment plan there. There was a payment plan of $500 down and $200 every time you got paid.
Okay.
Now, you had the car for how long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and what happened?
The clutch breaks. I called her and let her know I couldn't pay her because the clutch was broke and I couldn't drive the car.
So you paid how much for the clutch?
I paid $300 for the clutch to get fixed.
All right, then your response is that the car is sold as is.
The car was sold to her as is. Okay, when she calls me up for the first payment, she said, well, Regina, I can't pay for the car because the clutch went out and I had to pay for the clutch. So instead of me arguing with Kenita, what I did was I said, okay, bye, and I hung up.
No,
so the next month came.
No,
she calls me and she said she can't pay again because she needed brakes.
Actually,
she needed brakes. She needed to get brakes for the car. Okay, no, she haven't paid for 2 months, and then turns around, and the car gets towed. So when we go to the tow yard, I gets the car out of tow. So this is what I tell her: I got good news and bad news. The good news was I got the car out of tow. The bad news, you're not getting it because you didn't pay for 2 months.
All right, I've heard both sides. I've heard the evidence. Now it's my turn to render the verdict. The law is very clear, Ms. McNatt, that when you buy a vehicle, it is simply buy everywhere. If it was not in writing, hear me, and you're not alone, that people go, they spend money on an item, and they don't have a clear understanding in writing. I mean, the agreement between you all was scribbled out on a little piece of paper. There's no warranty on this agreement. There's no warranty on it. The money that you spend on the clutch, the money that you spent on the brakes, the money that you spent on this car, really you did at that point, you took the risk to fix the car. You only had the car for 2 weeks. I'm going to dismiss all of your counterclaim. I am going to allow her to repossess the car. Either you pay the balance of the $1,200 or you are going to have to forfeit the car. Now, so bottom line, so we're really clear about the verdict. The verdict is if you come up with a balance within 10 working days, the car and the title must be given back to Ms. McNatt. That is the equitable thing to do. Nothing further will stand adjourned.